I'm hurrying. Shuffle. Can you listen to the touch? Probably eventually. I've got it on shuffle. It'll come up eventually. I've got a lot of music in here, though, so it may be a while. But that said, there is one last thing. The music's loud. The music shouldn't be any louder than it's ever been. But I do want to end this by saying a couple things. I'll lower a little. But I do want to end this by saying a couple things. First of all, of course, may bring this back. If a game comes along that I really want to do, I'll do it. But as a regular thing, it's coming to a close. I would still love to keep streaming. I love sitting here and looking at the chat and talking to the chat. I think I actually like it best when I'm not doing the Maiden reactions, and I feel like I can stop and actually address people in the chat, which is something that it's a little less something that I can do normally. But, I do want to end this by actually thanking a lot of the people that sent me games to do, and I apologize to everyone that I didn't get around to doing the game that they sent me. But I do still have a giant list of all the games that I've done and who sent them to me, and I want to thank everybody. Because I know I started laxing and forgetting and not thanking people in the actual video when I did it. At one point I even forgot to put it in as at one point I started forgetting to even put it in as an annotation. So I really want to stop and thank everyone for it. Adappa58 sent me Been There, Dan That EYE Divine Cybermancy, or I Divine Cybermancy, and Time Gentlemen Please. So thank you for that. Azure Wotan sent me All Zombies Must Die and Burn Zombie Burn. So thank you very much for that. Blizzard Wolf 78 sent me Half Minute Hero. So thank you. Bonbon127 actually sent me a few games. Because I don't swear, and because I know I'm never going to hear the end of it, I'm going to, if I do, just for this, I'm going to say he sent me Heck Yeah, Dead Rabbit. He sent me QUBE, Cube. And he sent me Toby's Vertical Adventure, so thank you for that. Seabaker21 Gamer, thank you for sending me Breath of Death 7, Cthulhu Saves the World, and Poker Night at the Inventory. Chrono number 13, thank you for sending me Adventures of Shuggy. Dalon sent me The Ball. Darkrune sent me Sonic CD. Oh, and Really Big Sky. Deathy sent me Foul Space. Devian King 12 sent me Gish. Equus sent me Gateways. Game Gamer 0 sent me Lone Survivor and Quantum Conundrum. Losky 3 sent me a lot. He sent me Faster Than Light, Orcs Must Die, Rock Hard or Rochard, Scoregasm, They Bleed Pixels, and Trine. Lunar Shiner sent me Dust Force. Madam Berry sent me Euphoria and Sword and Sorcery EP. Minish actually sent me Dota 2. Naku sent me Audio Surf, and on the What is it? The Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness? I didn't write the entire title down. Newbie17 WTF, that's a heck of a name, sent me Meritus. Or, he didn't actually send it to me, but he suggested that I do it. I'm sorry I didn't get around to that. Potato Sniff sent me Commander Keen. Raging Minotaur sent me Frozen Synapse. I'm not going to pronounce this right, and I apologize, but Serene Z sent me Kung Fu Strike. Skordux sent me 1000 amps. Sinus Brill sent me Beyond Good and Evil. Shard Shinjuku from the podcast sent me Auditorium, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Lucid, and Is Othenfelgana. Smartboy201 sent me Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. Sniper Z sent me Air Mech. Some Lost Person sent me Nation Red. Spaceman Dan sent me Titan Attacks. Starboy sent me Fallout New Vegas. Tarider sent me Astro Tripper. The Game Boy 50 sent me Elder Scrolls 3 and 4. Torque Good sent me Gunded Ligne and Gundamonium Recollection. Tree sent me Dynamite Jack, Mutant Blobs Attack, Unmechanical, and Demolition Inc. Twilight Dusk sent me Swords and Soldiers. Umar167 actually got me one of the indie bundles, which gave me And Yet It Moves, Cave Story Plus, Cogs, Crayon Physics Deluxe, Gratuitous Space Battles, Hammer Fight, Night Sky, Shank, and Super Meat Boy. I think that was all in that one thing. Zone 51 sent me Super MNC. And last but most certainly not least, PettyFan45, who sent me like 500 games. Thank you, PettyFan. He sent me Alice, Madness Returns, Blur, Burnout Paradise, Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Hydrophobia, Plants vs. Zombies, Serious Sam, The Random Encounter, Spore, Torchlight, Wizorb, The Wolf Pack, and Wonder Boy in Monster World. There's another thing. I've actually got a number of games up here. I've got 8 games that I know somebody sent me, but I could not for the life of me figure out who sent me. And that is Binding of Isaac, Blocks That Matter, Hack/Loot, Scary Girl, Splice, Storm in a Teacup, Wanderlust Rebirth, and Ys Origin. I could not figure out who sent me these games. I'm so sorry, but if you're out there, thank you. Okay, there's all the thank yous. Just thank you all so freaking much for this. I just closed out of the chat by accident, so whoops. Yeah, whoops. Okay, give me half a second to open up the chat again. Because there's one last thing that I wanted to do. Come on. There we are. Why did that close out of the chat? Oh well, not important. Oh yeah, and he didn't give me the game, so I didn't put it on the, he didn't send me and give me the game, so I didn't put it on the list, but thanks to Ogre for letting me borrow Nocturne so I could play it. Yeah. Okay, the very last thing that I want to do. Where are my playlists? I'm actually going to step through, and I kind of want to give a retrospective, a post-thought retrospective on the... not just the Maiden Reaction series, but like all of the games in it. I kind of want to talk about the game specifically, and each game specifically, and how much time I've spent playing that game. Like, starting back at the very beginning, The Binding of Isaac was the very first one I did, and in The Binding of Isaac, I did actually go back and play that a fair bit afterwards. I actually streamed it when I went back and played more of it. I even uploaded. I beat Mother, and after I beat Mother, that was pretty much it for me. There was Sequence, which I did, which I think I would have liked to play more of, but I needed to go for the podcast, and I've never really picked it up since then. No, I will very much say how much time I spend playing these games is most certainly not a... It most certainly is not a tell of the quality of the game. Sometimes I just didn't have the opportunity to play more of it, or who knows. Blocks That Matter. I actually played a lot of Blocks That Matter. I got to the point when the puzzles started to get hard enough that it just wasn't quite as fun as it was when it started, and I just kind of faded out. I never beat the game, but I got really far. Dungeon Defenders. Dungeon Defenders was a game that I felt like I had to play with the podcast guys, and we actually played a lot of Dungeon Defenders. I think they got into it more than I did, but we did play a lot of it, and it was a huge amount of fun. Sanctum. Sanctum, we played for the 4-player thing. I continued to play it throughout the podcast, but I don't think I really played it much after that. Serious Sam 3 I actually did play a fair amount of. That went on for I played a fair amount into that game. I don't especially know why. I couldn't really tell you why I kind of lost interest. Let's see here. Cube! Q-U-B-E. I beat that game. That is one of few games in here that I actually beat. Though, granted, it's not the longest game in the world, and I didn't beat it, or I beat it later that evening. I kept playing during the podcast and everything, and I beat it that evening. It was still a glorious game, though. Bunch of Heroes. Once we were done with the Maiden reactions, we never really picked that up again. Blade Kitten. I actually played a lot of Blade Kitten. I really liked Blade Kitten. I mean, I will completely acknowledge that it's not the greatest game in the world, but I really liked Blade Kitten. I got to the last boss of the game. I actually took a break about halfway through the game. You know, I get the feeling people may want to know, like, what music's playing, so let me... how do I internet? Okay, give me a second. I'm adding in a thing that says, like, what song is playing. That's the best I can do for you. But, Blade Kitten, I actually really enjoyed. I got about halfway through the game before I stopped playing. I've mentioned this before, but I have something that I like to call boss anxiety. It's probably not an actual thing, but I call it boss anxiety. Which is that I'll get to a boss, and I'll, like, stop playing a game just before I fight a boss, and knowing that the next time I boot up that game, I have to fight that boss, it's a lot a lot harder for me to will myself to boot up that game. There are a lot of games that I have completely stopped playing, not because it's a bad game, but just because I couldn't will myself to boot that game up knowing the first thing I'm going to do is fight a boss. Something similar happened in Blade Kitten. About halfway through the game, they introduced a new set of enemies, and I was under the impression I was going to have to use a lot of, like, complicated moves and specific techniques to kill these enemies, and that wasn't something I was totally fond of or liked. I wasn't confident in my ability to do that kind of thing. So when I stopped playing there, I ended up not booting the game back up. It was just recently I figured, I really want to play this game. So I booted the game back up, and as it turns out, the enemies were a joke. You don't have to do crap to fight them, you just hack at them and they die. But I've since been playing more Blade Kitten recently, and I'm currently sitting at the last boss's door. The game is... I really enjoy Blade Kitten. It's not the best game in the world. It suffers a lot from flow issues, I think. And with flow issues, it's... I want to say some of that is that they're trying to adapt story and arcs and characters from the Blade Kitten comic. So maybe that just didn't flow into the game perfectly well. It felt like they were trying to add a lot of things from the comics, but they just didn't mesh well together in a nice, solid, coherent story. Okay, next up. Storm in a Teacup. Storm in a Teacup, I actually didn't play after the Maiden reactions. Let's see, after that came Fortune Summoners. I don't even remember what Fortune Summoners... Is Fortune Summoners the game that I think it was? Was that game what I think it is? Yes, it is. I want to say the challenge kind of scared me away from Fortune Summoners, just because when I play a game, I like to have dumb fun.